Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm out here just exploring the Sierra National Forest just a little bit more. It's not that far from my place, so it's always good to get out and just jump on the Forest Service roads and see what we can find. Getting ready to head back to the shop. I'm going to be slapping the Z Automotive Tazer into the Jeep. Few functions that I want to take care of. I want to make some changes on. We're going to mess with the auto restart. Not a fan of that one. We're going to get into the sway bar and the locker settings just a little bit and see what else we can mess with. Enough of this. Let's get back to the garage. Back up in there. I can barely get my finger up to it from this angle. Those are the wires that we're looking for. You can see there's two connectors there. They've got a little push button that you have to squeeze, and then you just kind of pull those wires down. Once we get those connectors down, then we can get those plugged into the Tazer. So while you've got that depressed, you can gently push up on that. Pull up on it this way, so it's actually pulling it away from the socket. So that's one way to get those things out. There's the second one. You can see that light immediately starts flashing. That means that we've got power and we're in good shape. So next thing up, I'm going to find some place to zip tie that to, so that it's a little bit more secured and this thing's not going to be bouncing around and beating on stuff. Now that that's secured, slap this panel back in. So all of the programming of the Tazer to your JL, your Gladiator, it's going to happen right here in the center of the dash, in that center screen there. To get to it, you need to have the vehicle in the run position, but the engine not actually running. So you hit your engine start button, hit it twice without your foot on the brake, and that'll put it into the run mode. And then your inputs are going to be on the steering wheel here. So first, you basically use your arrows here to cycle through to get to the audio screen. You can see I'm already in the audio screen. Then to make your changes on the Tazer, you're going to hold the left button and you're going to tap the cancel button to cycle through everything. So again, we're going to go in. We're actually going to start by marrying it to the JL. So we're going to hit to select. You're going to actually hit the cruise control on-off button. And you can see it says marrying, and it's got a 20-second countdown timer going there. So we let that count down. All right, and at the end of the countdown, you can see it tells you that it's married. Now those things are all set up, and then you can start making changes. So after that, I got the Jeep up and running again, because there's more settings that you can do once the vehicle's running. So again, in your program there, you're going to be holding that left button and tapping the cancel button to cycle through. And I'm going to go into the live settings here. And let's see, there's one I'm looking for. So what in motion is on your GPS. Once the vehicle's moving, you cannot once the vehicle's in drive, you cannot type in where you want to go on navigation. I want to be able to do that. I want my wife to be able to do that from the passenger seat. So it currently says that in motion is off. I'm going to change that so that now it says it's on. Now it's time to set up the auto start function. This one's super easy. Let's take a look. Again, for this one, we're in the audio function here. All we do is we come over, we hit the auto restart button. Light comes on, that means that the auto restart's turned off. Then you turn the vehicle off. So now we're going to mess with some of the fun stuff. We're going to use these buttons here on the right-hand side, the cruise control buttons, to map different functions that Jeep didn't intend for you to be able to have control over. We're going to mess with the sway bars, the lockers, a little bit of stuff like that. So let's get into that. So same thing, you're going to hit the on button twice, so the vehicle is in the run mode, but the engine's not running. And now instead of hitting the left button or holding the left button, we're actually going to hold the right button. So you hold the right button, and then while you're holding the right button, you tap the control or the switch that you want to control whatever function you're working with. So you've got your cancel, your resume, set up and set down. As long as your cruise control is not on, those should actually control those functions. So let's take a look. So I'm holding down the right button, and I'm going to start by setting my set up button. And I just tap my way through that. I'm going to put my front switch to sway bar kill. So basically that can disconnect the sway bar. I believe it's below 30 miles an hour. So I've got that on the set up. Now I'm going to play with the rear locker. So I used the set down button to lock my rear axle. So I want to be able to set that locker so I can use that when I'm not just in low range, but at other times as well. Because there is some functionality out of that. When you're in high range, it's nice to be able to have that locker. If you're between obstacles and you need just a tiny bit more traction, I like to just throw the locker in versus having to put the transfer case into low range, and then you can use the lockers. So that just makes it a little bit easier. So on that one, I actually used the resume button and I set the winch mode. And what that's going to do is when you're winching, it's going to be sucking a whole lot more power from the vehicle. So I have that set. So that's actually going to bump up the idle RPM for when I'm actually winching. So that alternator is going to be putting out a little bit more power, which is going to make the winch work a whole lot easier. Now, anytime that you change any of the settings, you actually need to reboot the system. So to reboot the system, we just got to get back in there again. And again, you want the vehicle in the run position, but engine not running. So you want to be in the audio settings. You're going to hold the left button, and then you're going to tap through with cancel. And we're looking for one of these that's going to say full reboot. So it says full reboot right there. So we're going to go ahead and tap the cruise control on off button. And then you can see it's got a 149-second countdown. So you're just going to sit here and wait patiently until that goes to 0. So after that timer turns off, we're going to turn off the run button to the vehicle, and then you can see the dash is still lit up. Once that turns off, that dash light turns off, then we're going to wait 60 seconds. So then we're going to go ahead and open the door, close the door, that the light's going to come back on, and then we'll wait till that turns off, wait another 60 seconds. Now that we've got everything programmed, it's time to find out if it's all working right. Let's check it out.
Now step on the brake and start the engine. The first thing we're looking for is that auto restart light to come on. When the light comes on automatically like that, that's telling us the engine will not shut off when we come to a stop. So we're going to keep that from happening now. Another one that I eliminated was the fasten seatbelt chime. So when I put it in drive, it's not chiming at us anymore.
Now let's see how the mapping of our buttons went. Again, the first button I did was the set plus. I set that to disconnect the sway bar. Foot on the brake. You can see in the dash, sway bar disconnect in progress, and the sway bar light's flashing. So that worked out great. So I hit it again to reconnect the sway bar. Next up, the set negative. I have that one set to engage the rear locker. So I hit that again with the foot on the brake, and the rear locker light came on. Perfect. Hit it again, turns off. Now this is the winch mode, so I hit my resume button because that's what I mapped it to. You can see winch mode kicks in there. You can see the idle kicks up as well to $2,000. That way the bat alternator is kicking, so it's putting out some good juice for the winch while we got that going. Perfect. All those things went great. Hit it again. Takes it just a second to come off. Says winch mode off. And there we drop back to idle. So there's a quick rundown on the installation and the programming of the Tazer on my Jeep JL. We did some of the standard functions, some of the live functions, as well as mapping some of the buttons. Some really cool functions that I'm looking forward to messing with out there. But let me know in the comments below what functions or features that you either are interested in or that you might run on your own vehicle. I'm curious to find out. If you like what we're doing here, give us a thumb up, maybe give us a follow, and keep an eye out. We got more stuff coming your direction. We'll catch you out there on the next one.